And it's an art of living. Whatever you do, you can incorporate this into your life. Any expression will have three phases. Every expression goes through these three phases. To open the gates of the kingdom and let yourself to have free information flowing in and out. They are all mindful. But that level of skill is different from one to another. Why? What is the role of spirituality? Spirituality never tries to correct the outside world. In 2012, I lost my only brother from a car accident. Right? That was also a very distressful period for me. What's the point if you can't cry? I don't want any liberation where I cannot cry. I should be able to cry. Good morning. Am I clear to all of you? Right, okay. So, how was your tour so far in Sri Lanka? Wonderful. Right. Is this the first time that you visited Sri Lanka?
Yes.
Right, okay. So, at the inception, I have to say that, in recent past, because of that Ditwa cyclone, some part of the country, some people of the country were affected. So I have to say from bottom of my heart, and I believe that you would also, we are in solidarity with the people who are affected by Ditwa cyclone, and our blessings and wishes are always there for their immediate recovery. But you would see that particular cyclone affected only one part of the country. You might not even have noticed that there had been a cyclone, because the rest of the coastal area and other areas are very safe and sound. But the hill country is a bit affected, have to be frank, but in couple of weeks the road access will be recreated. So this, with the cyclone, some adjustment were made to your tour. I was told that previously I was informed there should be 2 more to this group. But unfortunately they decided, due to certain news reports and maybe probable reasons, they cancelled the tour. But you did not. Thank you very much for that. But that is not the case. Here we have an incident to look into, to understand. What was the reason for 2 of your colleagues to cancel the tour, and why didn't you do so? Well, it's a quite interesting thing, because we are talking about Buddhism. Buddhism is all about the mind. Our decisions are made by our mind. You decided to visit Sri Lanka using your mind. They decided not to come using their mind. There is a quality in the mind that we tend to believe what we receive through our perceptions. It is subjected to, our decisions are subjected to, our beliefs are subjected to the receiving information which we receive through our 5 senses, through our eyes, through our ears, through our nose, through our skin, all the 5 sensations. From those information, we gather information and we make decisions and we come into conclusions. But the quite interesting fact And the most unfortunate fact is, there is a tendency in the mind, whatever we see, whatever we hear, we tend to believe. Especially that happens when you look into news. The first impression when we see someone or when we hear an information, the first thing the mind would do is to believing it. Thereafter, with the other information available, we analyze, and thereafter we reject or we accept. But the first inception, we believe it. Thereafter we analyze it. Do you understand? So when the information went through the media that Sri Lanka was affected by a cyclone, the first impression might have gone to your colleague is that the entire country is into dust and devastated. They did not wait for the second information. Believed in the first information. Right? Now this quality has been described in Buddhist scripts. There's a very interesting analogy. This is found in one of the Buddha's sutras. You know, the sutras are the discourses of Gautam Buddha, which are compiled in 3 books, which we commonly refer to as the Tripitaka. 3 books, compilation of 3 books. There is one particular discourse. It is mentioned as Vammika. Vammika. This is an ancient Indian language terminology. Vammika means a soil mound, where the termites build their mound, right? That is Vammika, that soil mound. In that particular discourse, there is an elaboration made after. There is a quite interesting analogy where Gautam Buddha expresses this nature of the mind where we tend to believe what we receive. Right? So the metaphor goes as like this. You know, the ancient days, we were ruled by the kings and queens. The king lived in a castle, and the castle, around the periphery of the castle, there was a city. That is the capital. That was the capital. And the city was covered by a city wall, protected by a city wall. Within the city, you find all the royal entourage and the ministers, all the wealthy people, noble people were inside the city. Right? So all of you from US, right? I believe there are no castles in US. Are there any castles? Not official. Unofficial castles. But you know, in Britain and other, you know, very old civilizations, you find castles. So around the castle, you have an inner city protected by city walls, and then the outer city where other people they lived. So whoever who wants to get into the castle has to go through the city gates. So Gautam Buddha says, when these city gates are closed, in an instance where the city gates are closed, the people who are inside the city cannot move out. And also, when the city gates are closed, people who are outside the city cannot go inside. Are we clear up to that? Why? The city gates are closed. Right? So what does this mean? What is this inner city? What is this outer city? What is this city wall? What are these city gates? When we are protected and isolated within a city, that means we are not ready to receive new information. Whatever they are in the city, we believe in. We think this is the world. That is why presidents and the ministers, they do not understand the suffering of a common man. Why? They live in a city, a mentality where they believe the information they receive is the utmost information. Similarly, who live in the outside of the city, who would dwell in a different belief system, if they have not opened the city gates, if they have not opened up their mind to receive new information, they also entrapped in their own belief system. Are we clear? So these closed city gates are known as ignorance. It is the ignorance. It is the ignorance which makes us entrapped. It is the ignorance which makes us prisoners. Now, do you ever believe that you are a prisoner? Prisoner. You think that you are free to move, you are free citizens and you are not prisoners. But I am asking you, are you sure about it? Because when I say a prisoner, you would think of a person who has been through the court's procedure, has received a verdict and been imprisoned by the government. Those are the prisoners that you are aware of. But if I say we are all prisoners of our own mind, as long as the city gates are closed. If you tend to believe what you hear is the truth, nothing but the truth. If you tend to believe what you see is the truth, but nothing but the truth. Similarly, if you tend to believe all the information that you receive through your five senses are the truth, obviously we are imprisoned. Do you understand? So spirituality is a process where it helps you to dilute these prison walls, to open the prison gates, to open the gates of the kingdom and let yourself to have free information flowing in and out. Then the people in the inner city can move out to the outer city. People in the outer city can move in to the capital. Free flow of information. When there is a free flow of information, your mind cannot be entrapped. It will be always free, always ready to receive. Do you understand? Now this status of mind is referred to as Sammaditthi in Buddhism. The English translation is right view. Right view, R-I-G-H-T V-I-E-W, right view. That is Sammaditthi. So when somebody says right view, you would think, okay, there should be a view which should be right. No, it is not like that. It is, if you're in right view, if your mind is something like this, that means you have information. Based on the informations, you have developed ideas, right? Now, you may have your friend sitting next to you. Maybe you have been a friend since childhood, or maybe within this tour you have made the friendship. Your opinion on of the person who is sitting next to you, based on the information that you have gathered in this short period. Those are the information, and your opinion is the idea. He is a good person, he is a bad person, she is a good person, she is a bad person. Those are the opinions based on information. So the informations are there, you cannot stop. Opinions are made, you cannot stop. That is the nature. But you are not cling on to your own opinion. You are not cling on, attached to your own opinion. You have the idea that my opinion can either be right or either be wrong. Then you are in right view. Whatever the opinion made in the mind, whatever the idea generated by the mind, in every instance, you know the duality of it. My idea can be right or can be wrong. Every instance. So you are never attached to any hard and fast opinion inside. That is what we called as right view. So it is not a view at all. Do you understand? So this is what the Buddhist spirituality express. If you can realize this situation of the mind, you cannot be imprisoned thereafter. That is the moment you achieve liberation. You are liberated from all the opinions, whether those opinions are pure or impure, whether those opinions are right or wrong, whether those opinions are divine or satanic, it doesn't matter. You are free, liberated. Can you see what the spiritual practice is going to make you? A free man, a free woman. Then we have to say, why cannot we generate an opinion based on the information that we receive, which we can consider as the ultimate truth? Why? Okay, we are receiving substantial information. But still, why can't we generate an ultimate opinion? It is because of two things. It is because of two sieves which our information goes through. We receive our information through our five senses, you know that. And also there is the sixth sense. Our mind can also generate information, thinking. So those are the six senses, right? The first five senses are limited by a physiological barrier. Physiological barrier. Now there's about few people here. Some do wear glasses, some do not. So your vision is limited or not? Limited. The way you can see with your naked eye, she cannot see that. She needs glasses. So our eyesight has a physiological barrier. It is not only wearing glasses. Some people are colorblind. Some people are totally blind. So the information that they receive cannot be one and the same. If she removes the glasses, the information she sees through the eyes is not the same as that you are receiving. It is different. Similarly, this is applicable to all the other four senses. Hearing, tasting, smelling, bodily sensations, all those five senses are physiologically limited, different from one person to another. So we don't receive the same information. Everyone do not receive the same information. The information, the set of information that you receive is different from the set of information that she receives. So can your opinion be one and same? Can't be. That is the first limitation. Because of that limitation, from the information that we gather, we cannot come to an ultimate opinion. It can be either right or wrong based to each and everyone's perception. The second one, it's a psychological barrier which limits the sixth sense, the mind. It based on the information that we have gathered. Right? Now I will give you an example. You understand when I speak. Why? I do speak in English. You have the English database inside you. When I say something in English, it is your database which comes up. But if I start to do this sermon in Sinhala, you would only know Bohom Hondai, Lasanai, that's all. Istuti. Can you see? That is the psychological limitation. One is physiological, second is psychological. Can you see? So, though we think the information that we have received is substantive, it is never substantive. It is psychologically limited, physiologically limited. So, based on the information which we have received through limitations, can we come up to a conclusion which is the absolute? We can't. If we think it is the absolute, that is the wrong view, not the right view. Do you understand? So, just imagine a mind, imagine your own mind, where you gather information, receive information, yes. You create opinions, yes. But you have the understanding, my opinion can be either right or wrong. Think about the freedom in the mind. No one can shake you mentally. No one.
Yes.
No, I think there's a third barrier, which is the source of the information, because the source also comes through these limitations. And now with social media and everything,
The creator of the information
is also very biased. So if you follow only one creator, by definition, you must have the wrong information.
That is true. Now, when we consider the reception of information, it can be categorized into two parts, the outside world and the inside world. The point that you took about the creator who propagates the information belongs to the outside world. You're right. It can be biased as well. It might have agendas. So the created stories can be doctored, adulterated, right? Then we have the outside world, the inner environment, which is totally in our control. That's the thing. The outside world, we have no control. We cannot make anyone else, we cannot ask anyone else to not to be biased. We can ask, but there is no guarantee that he would do that. But when we think about the inner environment, apart from the physiological barrier, especially the psychological barrier, we have our control. The physiological barrier also can't help. Mean if you have less eyesight, you can wear glasses. There is a limit to rectify it, right? It can be rectified to a certain level, but the psychological component, we have the full control. That is where the spirituality addresses. And the psychological limitations, that is where the physicians addresses. You have to go to a doctor to correct that. And if you want to correct the outside world, you have to go to law. There are ways to correct. Then, what is the role of spirituality? Spirituality never tries to correct the outside world. It is beyond its limitation. Spirituality cannot correct, rectify the physiological errors. That is up to the doctors. That is again beyond the spiritual boundary. But the inner world, the nature within, the psychology, is within the boundaries of spirituality. Are you clear? Right? Then, how do we now you heard this, okay? Informations are there, we create opinions, but these informations are limited. There are limitations to this information. So based on these limitations, the opinion cannot be absolute. Okay, now you know it as a knowledge, but still we have opinions, don't we? Don't you have opinion about your president? Favorable or unfavorable? Some people think he is a good person. Some might say he is a bad person. The person who would think he as a good person, he would think it is absolute, isn't it? The person who disfavors him would think he is a bad person and think that his opinion is absolute. Why? That is the problem. It is simply because there is a faculty in the mind which helps us to analyze what happens inside. That faculty is known as mindfulness. I think you might have heard of this. Mindfulness. Right? So simply by understanding this as a knowledge would not help. You have to develop this faculty inside. It's a skill. Mindfulness is a skill. You have to develop this. If you develop mindfulness, then only you would see clarity inside the mind and get to know what happens there. Okay, this is simply an information. This is simply an opinion. This information might have limitations. All those things, that awareness comes with the level of mindfulness. That is why you are here today. That is the spiritual practice which we are going to introduce, which will help you to develop mindfulness. Are you clear? Right? It is something like this now. You know that we all can dance. We can do something, right? When there's a music. But we cannot dance like Michael Jackson. Why? He has practiced a lot. We have not practiced it. Right? So, if it is a skill, we can develop it. So as I said, mindfulness, we all have mindfulness. We are all mindful. But that level of skill is different from one to another. Why? We have not practiced it. But if we practice, the level of our mindfulness will gradually increase up to a point where our mind would become like a scanning machine. When an information is received, the information goes through the scan. You scan the information. That is done by mindfulness. Then when the opinion is created, that opinion also goes through the scan. That is done by mindfulness. Based on the opinions that we act, we react or response. That reaction or response also goes through the scan, done by mindfulness. But if your scanning machine is not working properly, nothing would happen. No scanning at the level of reception, no scanning at the level of generating opinions, no scanning at the level of reactions. Do you understand? So the entire process here, it's a prescription which will help you to develop mindfulness. So meditation is one such activity, but it is not the only activity. Right? Meditation is one such activity. So how these exercises are made? The spiritual masters, they would take any activity. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be only meditation. It can be either cooking, it can be either dancing, it can be either singing, maybe any of your profession, any of your activity. While you do the activity, right, you observe the mind. What happens to the mind with incidents? In your day-to-day life, you encounter people, you encounter incidents. Based on the people that you meet, based on the events that you face, your mind gives out different expressions. When you see a friend of yours, your mind will generate happiness. When you see an enemy, your mind will generate anger. When you see your partner, the mind will generate lust. I don't know what it is, right? When you see a beautiful thing, the mind will generate joy. Different emotions. Those are the expressions of mind. So with every activity, you observe these mental expressions. That is mindfulness. It's a very simple thing, but it is always advised to incorporate, to invest at least a limited period of your day for a specific spiritual process, which my advice is to dedicate the first hour of your day. That means right after you wake up, you have 60 minutes. Why? We take the first 60 minutes. There are no excuses to postpone it. Right? Right after you wake up, you have 60 minutes. You divide that 60 minutes into 3 parts. First 20, second 20 and the third 20 minutes. Within the first 20 minutes, you can do some body exercise, physical exercise, to warm up your body. Because your body should be ready in order to meditate. Right? For 20 minutes, you can select a workout plan on YouTube or somewhere. Right? And do the exercise and let yourself sweat or either to warm up. Then the next 20 minutes, you can do a simple meditation. It's a very easy thing, where you will observe your mind for 20 minutes. You don't want to concentrate the mind. There is no need of concentration. Simply you become an observer. You keep an alarm for 20 minutes, sit somewhere comfortably, either on a chair, on the ground, whatever you please. Gently close your eyes and observe the thoughts, emotions and sensations which comes to your mind. In the 20 minutes, you will generate thoughts, thinkings about your children, about your grandchildren, about your business, whatever it is. Then also the emotions. When you think about your children, you will feel happy or angry, I don't know. When you think about your job, you may feel stressed or blissful, I don't know. So thinking, thoughts are there, emotions are there. And also when there will be moments there are no thoughts, then you will hear bird calls and the temperature, different other sensations. You receive these 3 things, thoughts, emotions and sensations. You observe it for 20 minutes. Once the alarm goes off, then the third step, final 20 minutes. keep a diary. Write down those thoughts, emotions and sensations which came to your mind in the 20 minutes of meditation, as much as you can remember. It's a very simple exercise. It will gradually help you to develop your skill of mindfulness. If you continue to do so, right, within first 3 weeks, after first 3 weeks, you will see even in the rest of the day, when something triggers your mind, automatically your self-focus into your mind, not to the event. Now what happens is, when some external factor triggers you, your focus goes to the external factor. But when you are mindful, when some external thing triggers you, your focus goes inward. You will see, oh my God, look at this expression. I am getting angry. My body is heating up. My muscles are shivering. I feel sweating. My mind is tightened or relaxed. Whatever the expression, you can see that. You become an observer of the mind. That is how you come to this realization that this information is not the ultimate, and the opinion is also not the ultimate. It's a very easy thing, but simple dedication. You need a little bit of dedication, right? Well, obviously, even in day-to-day activities also, you can be mindful and think about what happens inside the mind with incidents. But if you invest 1 hour, the process will be rapid. And it is good for your both body and mind. 20 minutes exercise, good for body. 20 minutes meditation, good for mind. Are we clear? Right? Because that is the way, because simply by acquiring knowledge, you won't come to the right view. Because it is a habit now. We tend to believe what we see. We tend to believe what we hear. We think our opinion is the only opinion. Now I am saying something to you about spirituality. I am preaching something. If I am not of the right view, if I think what I say is the ultimate, you can trigger me. Only you have to raise a question and say, make a statement and say, what you say is wrong, I will get upset. So if you are in right view, if I am in right view, I should not even believe in what I say right now. If I believe that what I say is the ultimate, I am also a prisoner of my own religion, of my own belief system. Can you see, it's a very subtle point. The mind has addicted and adjusted in such a way that it always tries to entrap us. Unless we are mindful, we will get caught to it. What happens when you go through the spirituality? People tend to think, I am so spiritual. Spirituality itself becomes a prison, a belief system. That is why Buddhism was never a religion. It can't be a religion. If it is the right view, there are no religions, there are no belief systems. It is simply an experience. You experience the world. Opinions will be there, but you are not attached to it. then you will find heaven. What is heaven? Heaven is always something which you have not experienced yet, isn't it? If you are not caught up in an opinion, if you are not hold on to an opinion, when you visit Sri Lanka, you have no prejudgments about it. You are always experiencing a new world, new earth, new person, new event, new moment. Everything is fresh. That is heaven. If you experience the same thing over and over again, that is hell. Do you understand? The good thing here is, there is no person, no outside person can save you in this regard. It is you who have to save yourself. By your own mind. So have you heard about this Buddhist spirituality before? This concept. This was there for centuries. For many centuries this was there. Right? And it's an art of living. Whatever you do, you can incorporate this into your life. It doesn't mean that you become a vegetable. It doesn't mean that you are inactive. You act. I still preach, right? But I don't believe in any word that I utter. You still live. So it's a quite interesting philosophy. So my humble invitation for you to try to invest on yourself and see from within what I said is true or not. Am I limited? Am I receiving limited information? True or false? Am I creating opinions based on limited information? True or false? You look from yourself. If I get attached to my opinions, can anyone make me upset? True or false? Check. But if you are mindful, that third step won't happen. You will still receive information, you will still generate opinions, but you will not attach to it. Why? You know the reality. You know it is not substantive. If you know the reality, now it is something like that. A prostitute boasts about her virginity. If you know that she is a prostitute, would you care about that? So information that you know it is limited, that you have understood, that you have realized it is limited by two barriers, physiological and psychological. It's like a prostitute. Would you believe that your opinions are virgin? No. It's a realization. Once you realize that what we receive, the opinions are not the ultimate, not the absolute, you know that then you are in right view. So do you have any questions? I would love to receive some questions before we move on to like 10 or 15 minutes guided meditation. Please.
Do you still struggle with that, or have you reached it? You're there already.
Well, struggling happens when you keep a point as a target. I'm answering your question, right? Why do you have to struggle? You struggle because you are in one particular point and there is a final destination to achieve. Final destination, a goal to reach. Right? Isn't that goal is another opinion? Isn't that another prison? So, am I supposed to leave one prison, escape from one prison, and to get into another prison? Do you understand? That's why I said it's a very subtle point. Even within the spiritual practice itself, it creates one after another prison. So, if someone is in a spiritual practice, naturally what happens is, he is already in a prison, he will move on to another prison, until such time he understands what is happening here. As long as there is a struggle, that means you are trying to move on to another prison. Only thing that I want to do is to expand my mindfulness. That's it. I want to be skillful in mindfulness, because if I am skillful, I can realize prisons. The prevailing prison as well as upcoming prison. So if you want to go in this path, only focus on expanding mindfulness, nothing else. Then you will not go wrong. It's like a young chap who goes to the gym every day and work out. He doesn't have any idea to compete from Mr. America. No. He simply work out for his own benefit, for fun. Every day you just work out your mind for fun. Not to reach liberation, not to reach heaven, not to reach enlightenment. Did you understand? Did I answer your question? Please, I would love to have more questions. I believe that you might have go to safari in Yala, did you? Just recall those memories and think how many expressions that you passed in your mind. With every incident, how many expressions of the mind are generated? If you were mindful, okay, what's happening? When I see a sloth bear, what is happening inside? Did you see a tiger?
No.
Leopard? No? An elephant?
Yes.
Once you see an elephant, what happens? The mind. When the elephant tries to attack you, did they try to attack you? No. You should have had that experience also. Because now we call this in our term vipassana. Mindfulness meditation is known as vipassana meditation. For a mindfulness meditator, it's always better if you go through hardships. Because when you go through bitter experience in your life, those expressions are so vibrant. Anger is a very vibrant emotion. Fear is a very vibrant emotion. Very vibrant. It shivers the entire body. When you see a ghost, it shivers the entire body. When you watch a horror film, it shivers you. blissful experience. I mean, you can't call it blissful at the moment, but it's a very vibrant experience. A good start, a focal point to investigate. So, unlike stillness meditators who try to concentrate their mind, mindfulness meditators always want eventful life. It should be eventful. Otherwise, you can't study the mind. So, hope when you go back to the hotel, something is missing. Something is lost or missing. Or you've been ill-treated by the staff. Or your good friend Ajit has eloped. You are lost in Sri Lanka. Those are the eventful things in life. Another cyclone comes to Sri Lanka. Destroy the entire coastal area. This philosophy, even Sri Lankans, they don't know, they are not aware, but still it is in their blood, in their DNA. Because this was there for many centuries now. When a philosophy is there for centuries, it imprints in our DNA. That is why Sri Lankans are a very resilient nation. Even in the flood, they swim for joy. Right? I don't know, it was very wonderful now. When the entire hill country was flooded, the people in the coastal area took their boats in vehicles and they went there to save the other people, and they're still helping those people. Right? So those qualities were there because of these Buddhist principles, which are now inculcated in their DNAs. They are driven by that. They don't know even. Right? But it's another story. But what I say is, don't expect good things happen to your life all the time. It will never happen like that also. It's always better to have cyclones. Always better to have tsunamis in life. Because it's a moment, an opportunity for you to study the mind. That's why I want questions from you. If there are no questions from the audience, I am not challenged. I want to be challenged. Yes, thank you very much.
What about those that say, well, it's too hard for me to sit and focus and concentrate for 20 minutes. I can't make myself do it. I just can't settle down and make myself do that.
Yes. Those are the meditators who look for stillness meditation. Stillness meditation. Now, meditation is twofold. One is stillness meditation. The other one is mindfulness meditation. In mindfulness meditation, you do not want to concentrate the mind. You just simply become an observer. Whether your mind is busy or calm, it doesn't matter. You simply observe. Right? That is what we do in our morning routine. Simply close the eyes and let thoughts come. We don't want to stop them. But in stillness meditation, you focused on one thought and try to be in that. That's a bit troublesome. Right? Now there are ways to calm down that also. Have you tried that meditation?
Yes.
Yeah. Would you like to know how to achieve something from that? I mean, you won't come into the realization, but that is also a good medication for the restless mind. Now, if you cannot focus on one particular thought, you can select a stream of thoughts. The best thing is loving kindness meditation. In loving kindness meditation, it has a paragraph, a verse, which you repeat. So, it's not one focal point. For a beginner, it will be difficult to capture one focal point. So, then we prescribe a verse search for loving kindness meditation verses, remember it and reiterate it from mind. It will ease your struggle. There are many more other techniques, but I don't know the time would permit to elaborate everything. But another thing is doing that body exercise, physical exercise, and be with the mind while you exercise. That also helps you to achieve the basic calmness within. Thereafter you can go for stillness meditation. Do you understand? But my proposal is, mindfulness meditation is very easy. There is no struggle. You have to let your mind flow wherever it goes. You simply observe from behind. It's very easy. Even that, when you do it for a couple of weeks, gradually the mind will come into a rest. Naturally it will come to a rest, not artificially, not forcefully. Do you understand?
Yes.
In 2012, I lost my daughter, and 6 months later, I lost my son in a motorcycle accident on to Dhamma. I struggled to find peace with that, and I feel like I'm not supposed to find peace with that.
Right. I'm really sorry to hear the demise of both of your children. In 2012, I lost my only brother from a car accident. Right. That was also a very distressful period for me. Then later on, I tried to analyze what happened to me. Why was I in so much of stress? Then I realized, once you lose a loved one, someone you care a lot, it is natural to feel pain. The natural response of the mind is to be sad. But I wanted to get away from the sadness. I wanted to get away from the pain. That was the problem. Expression of sorrow, expressions of grievance, expression of sadness, all those expressions are natural. Let it be there. Right? Because your question, going like with her question, a struggle to achieve a very specific status of mind, where there is no sadness, where there is no grievance. That's the problem. Do you understand?
Yes, I'm supposed to be sad.
You're supposed to be sad because it's an expression.
And I'm not supposed to get over it. I'm supposed to.
Not that you're not supposed to get over it. Any expression will have 3 phases. Every expression goes through these 3 phases. Generation, the phase of generation of expression, the phase of existence, and the phase of demise. Everything is subjected to that 3 statuses. Any being, any existence, our life, birth, existence, death. That 3 things happens to every emotion. Let your grievance, let your sorrow to have a natural death. Let it come up, let it exist, let it have a natural death. Don't try to mingle from inside. Once you try to, poke within the emotions, the emotion expands. Why? It's another secret of the mind. Once you are mindful, you will realize this also. The mind cannot take negative commands. When you say your mind to not to be sad, it can't do that. I will give you an example. I will ask you all to not to think about monkeys for 10 seconds. Why? Mind can't take negative commands. It can't. If you want to manage, inner engineer your mind, you have to go through positive commands. It's a different thing. Right? When you are sad, don't ever pressurize your mind to not to be sad. Your sadness will amplify it. When you are angry, do not ever pressure your mind to not to be angry. Your anger will be amplified. It can't do like that. You will get to know all these secrets if you practice that and be mindful. It's a very, this is a very extensive science, a very extensive chemistry. But what I wanted you to do the preliminary introduction to this process. If you go through this, it's a quite massive and vast subject and very interesting. You understand? Let all your emotions come, exist, and to have a natural death. What's the point if you can't cry? I don't want any liberation where I cannot cry. I should be able to cry by watching a movie, a tragedy, and cry. Then you feel that you're living. If you don't cry, that means you're dead. You're a zombie. Nothing is unnatural in spirituality. Everything is natural. But those misconceptions are there. People think that it's a situation something like this. That's wrong. So with that, I would like to invite you to do a very small guided meditation, right? Now, this is not the thing that which I asked you to do in the morning. Now, this is like it's a muscle relaxation exercise. Here, I would guide you through different body parts. Now, when I say top of the head, you focus about the surface area for few seconds. Then I would say tense. Then you mentally tense it. You can do it from the mind. Don't worry. Then after few seconds I would say relax. You gradually relax it. So I will start from a little bit of breathing exercise. Then I will go through your entire body and specific parts. You have to follow my instructions. It's very simple, right? Now these type of meditations you can do. Now it's like in a situation where you lose a loved one, right? It's a very traumatic moment. Then you need a quite quick relief. Quick relief. Maybe you lose your job, right? If you need a quick relief, you can do this kind of meditation. Go through the body, use the body, then you will really receive an immediate relief. But it is not eternal, but immediate relief. It's like taking paracetamol for head pains, right? So here, the other thing when you meditate, you have to be aware is the posture, right? Now it's always better if you can keep your both feet grounded, right? And try to keep your body straight as much as possible. And the other important thing, let your face look forward and chin parallel to the floor. Why? If you feel sleepy during the meditation, your head will tilt down like this. Then you can easily recognize I am falling asleep. If you start the meditation like this, you will never know when you went to sleep. Right? It's always advised to keep the chin. Right? And before closing your eyes, observe your environment and see whether you are safe. Are you sitting to a serial killer or not? Next to a serial killer or not, right? Observe your environment. Feel safe. And when you close your eyes, gently close your eyes. Don't pressure your eyes, right? Gently close it. And when I ask you to breathe in and breathe out, follow my instructions. We'll try to go through. Are you ready? Alright, okay. Then please gently close your eyes. Focus on your entire body. Relax your body. If you want to correct your posture, take a few seconds and do changes. Make yourself comfortable as much as possible. Focus on your body again. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Gently open your eyes. So you could see 10 minutes of meditation can do wonders. So as you said now, if you have a restless mind, this kind of guided meditation, we call it muscle relaxation meditation. It's a very effective one. So again, what I would like to invite you to introduce such a practice. Simply observe your mind for 20 minutes. After doing 20 minutes exercise, then do the journaling thing. You will see more wonders than this. Do you understand? And also, this session, my talk has been recorded. In future, I will upload it to a YouTube channel. So far, there are certain discourses which I have done, discussions I have done with some other groups, where I have discussed different aspects of the mind chemistry. Mind has different secrets which will help you to overcome different problems, different symptoms of the mind. So if you wish to go into depth of this study, I invite you to go through those discussions and get yourself more knowledgeable about it. But simply gathering knowledge would help you. You have to experience it from within. Keep that in mind. So I will share this link with Ajit. If you wish, you can receive the link from Ajit through WhatsApp, and my contact details are also available with Ajit. If someone is interested into deep meditation into this aspect, I am more than ready to guide you through, but you have to do a certain level of dedication as well. Okay? So do we have any questions before we wind up the session?
No.
We can, instead of body relaxation, we can just take 20 minutes and just observe our own minds. It doesn't have to be just a body or any particular thing. You can just say, okay, I'm going to just watch my mind for 20 minutes.
Yes, that is the most best, advisable one if you do something regularly. This kind of, now this mental body relaxation exercise is again a stillness meditation, not a vipassana meditation.
Say that again?
It's a stillness meditation, concentration meditation, right? Now for different illnesses, there are different cures, right? Now when you suffer from something, you will be given a pain killer to get rid of the immediate pain, but it is not the eternal solution. Just to get rid of the pain, you need something, right? Otherwise you can't live with the pain if it is unbearable. Stillness meditation is something like that. So this constructive muscle relaxation meditation is a painkiller. It will help you to take off many pains, but it will not help you to see the chemistry of the mind. It will help you in a different way, because once you are relieved of the pain, you are in clarity to see more about the mind. But it is not a direct hit. Do you understand? Make use of it. There are different techniques. The techniques are there for our own benefit. So I mostly encourage people to do the mindfulness part, but I do the stillness part as well. I guide people through that also if they need it on specific events. Right. So thank you very much for your participation. I think we had a very wonderful and deep discussion. So this would be maybe for some people the first invitation for spirituality. Keep the momentum going, right? Because it is beneficial. Whatever you learn, you can spread the message to your neighbors, to your loved ones, because everyone is suffering because of their mind, simply because they do not know what happens there. They struggle with emotions thinking that those are unnatural. If you can even by a word, if you could say what you feel right now is totally natural, it will help them to overcome it, right? So spread the word, spread the message, and be mindful. Visit Sri Lanka again, and thank you very much for coming. Yes. Right. Okay, thank you very much, people.
Thank you.
Also, if you want to know anything about about the monk, and if you want to know anything about, feel free to ask.
Ajit wants to ask more questions. Yes, if you, as he said, if you want to know anything.
How long have you been
A monk.
Yes.
Now it's almost 10 years now. Almost 10 years.
What is the significance of the color of
The robe, right? For Buddhist monks, there is a range of colors which we can use, which goes from yellow to dark brown. Now, this particular color is for forest dwelling monks, because now if you use a very luminous color, it can drive animals crazy and attack you. So this color makes us more camouflage to nature, to soothe. It's a very soothing color which will not create problems in the wilderness. But you will find the chief monk who was here, he was wearing orangish color, right? Because he is a village dwelling monk, so there are no wild animals. They go to those most colorful, luminous colors. So there is a range in which we can select based on our residence.
And how many monks are here residing?
Actually, this is not my temple. This is, I don't stay here. As far as I know, there's only one monk, only that monk. Nowadays, monks are really rare in Sri Lanka. There are many temples without monks.
How did you decide to become a monk? And what went on in your mind to make that decision?
It was through my experience when I was engaged in my work. There was one time that I realized that my ego is growing with the professional experience and achievements. My ego is growing, and also I saw my seniors who are suffering because of the ego which they cannot even maintain. So that was the major reason for me to decide on a spiritual path. And from childhood I had this ambition to study what Buddhism is and what spirituality is. So with that I thought I would dedicate my life to spirituality, and then also I thought I should help others. So this is a good platform if you want to spread the message, share the message with someone. This is the best platform, a monk or a priest. Those platforms are there in order to help yourself and also help others in spirituality. Haven't you had the experience that your ego is overgrowing you with the achievements? I felt it a bit scary.
What was your profession before that you saw this with your superiors and yourself?
Okay, I was a lawyer. Can you imagine the ego? So it's quite a very bitter experience when you develop an ego as a lawyer. Okay then, thank you very much again.